True mastery requires one thing: the relentless pursuit of knowledge. He's Dr. Joe Goldman, a traveling physician who's constantly navigating new hospitals and complex systems. In this episode, we're going the distance to find the perfect ingredient. A snap, and we're gone. This is a taste of continuing education.
Turkey is so famous about Sumac.
Now here's the whole story. Welcome to the show, Joe Goldman.
Thanks very much for having me.
Absolutely. You know, we've known each other for a number of years, and now I feel like we're traveling partners. We've been on a couple trips together, and it's a lot of fun. You know, for me, today's show is about continuing education, and for me, I do that by traveling. I do that by eating my way across a country or around a particular type of cuisine. What do you feel is your best approach to continuing education in the field of medicine?
There really are a number of different avenues.
Yeah.
So the various professional societies have conferences where they're trying to present what they feel is the latest research and newest information. These societies online publish their guidelines for care, representing their assessment of what should be the new standard. These things are constantly evolving. Every couple of years there'll be something new out. There are journal articles, and then there's just more informal routes of talking with colleagues. And you know, it's impossible to attend every conference or to read every journal article. So those are largely the way in which this works. There are some courses that are fascinating but can't be offered any place or any time. Some years ago, I attended a critical care resuscitation conference in Baltimore. In my estimation, it's probably one of only 4 cities in the U.S. that could pull this off, because they had, I think, 15 cadavers, and they all had to be fresh within 24 hours because they were not embalmed. When you embalm a cadaver, it changes the texture of the tissue. It changes its compliance. So if you really want to practice on something that's like a living human, but not, you have to go to one of these conferences to work on a fresh, unembalmed cadaver. These are pretty rare opportunities, but really speak to the hands-on part of this in a pretty important way, because there's certain things that you learn through your hands and not just through reading.
That's super fascinating. Super fascinating. So, Joe, we're going to talk more. I want to talk more about continuing education and continuing medical education, more specifically in your profession. Mm-hmm. But right now, my main question, since this is a cooking show, is what do you want to cook? My name is Chris Holen. For the past 25 years, I've had the privilege of calling Astoria, Oregon home. It's a place that's authentically reinventing itself and bringing about new life. And it's all happening through the incredible people that live here. They're making a difference, one meaningful act at a time. And that's not just an Astoria story, is it? It's a common thread intertwined through every thriving community around the world. Whether it's a small town or a big city, it's powered by its people. Folks dedicated to putting good out into the world. Now, what do you want to cook? We're bringing these stories right into my kitchen. This show is about connecting with the heart of the community, no matter where you are. We'll cook dishes that tell a story. We'll explore how these guests are making a difference. And we'll discover together why these moments of connection are so vital in today's world. It's a cooking show, a talk show, and a celebration of good people. So, what do you want to cook? And what stories do you want to tell?
Well, you know, I thought about that a bit. There's so many things I would like to be better at in terms of cooking, but some years ago I had a carrot dish, and it was just a very simple roasted carrot, but it was the spices that gave it a real depth of flavor, and I've never seen a recipe for this. So I've been playing around trying to get as close to what I could remember of the flavors as I could. So if you could help me figure out how to tweak that into a dish that would be worthy of serving to company, that would be great.
So spices are a big deal. Okay, so what do we got? We talked about doing a carrot dish with one of your favorite spices, smoked cardamom.
Black cardamom, yeah. So black cardamom is very different from the green cardamom. They're
Yeah.
grown in different parts of the world. They have completely different flavor profiles. They're completely different plants, although they are all a member of the same genus that actually includes ginger as well.
Yeah. Okay. What else? Spanish paprika.
Right? So the smoked, right? I'm
Oh, it's
going,
nice.
I'm going with that smoky
Smoked
thing.
paprika. All right. So you were able to pick up a couple of the things at Pat's Pantry for this dish, but you wanted to add sumac?
Yeah, sumac, I thought might have been a part of this. And while they sell it there, I thought, you know, with the cardamom, I'm getting the whole pods and grinding them, so it's as fresh as I can make them. But the sumac, I just would like to go someplace where I would be closer to the source
Okay.
to get it as fresh as possible, maybe get a little bit more brightness to the flavors. I was thinking if we could find like a big spice marketplace, a spice bazaar in the Middle East someplace. The biggest spice bazaar in the Middle East would
It's
be
in Istanbul.
in Istanbul.
You think we can just like teleport there? I think it's a good idea. Okay. No, I get it. Let's see what we can do. I think if we think about it hard enough,
Okay.
we can transport ourselves all the way to Istanbul to pick up some of the freshest sumac available. So, let's give it a shot. Let's head to Istanbul and walk through the largest, as I understand it, largest spice market in the world. Got a card for this guy, Masala Spice, number 49, Istanbul Spice Market. I guess let's go see if we can find them. And we'll get the best stuff.
Hey, who are you?
How are you, man?
Doing very well. My name is Muhammad. I'm originally Syrian. I'm working in Spice Bazaar. Spice Bazaar, it's a huge and very interesting place. You can find whatever you are looking for. Let me show you. Yeah, please. We're gonna start with the first stuff, which is the most local in Turkey. This is we try our salad. Turkey is so famous about sumac. Sumac is kind of like sour cheese. It's coming from the cranberry seeds.
I like that.
Deep taste of that one. That one, it has the kick aftertaste. The one is equal one. If I'm gonna still count it, I will not count it the right way because when I'm gonna count one, the last sour taste is coming from that seeds.
Crazy good. It's a little bit of everything. You got it all in one bite. Work. You came all the way to Istanbul to get fresh spices for that dish. That's nice. Yeah, I like that.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to see you.
Holy cow, Istanbul was crazy. 18 million people sitting between two continents. You can actually cross over the Bosphorus Strait or under and be from Europe to Asia. It's 98% Muslim. And what an incredible place. That was really quite the adventure. All the way to get that. That's wonderful.
Very nice.
All right, so we talked about so if we take here's what I suggest, and if you want to cook or I'll cook or however you want to do it. So I think we should we should take the cardamom. It's this one, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cardamom. We take a little bit of ginger, right? And a little bit of smoked paprika. If we dry toast it in a pan just a little bit, it'll help bring out the flavors. These have been pretty dried. That Sumac's super fresh, right? So bring out some of the flavors. We'll toss it in the bowl with the carrots. I think we should add a little bit of salt, season a little bit of olive oil, then back in the pan and we'll throw it in the oven. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put that on like kind of a medium, almost medium, a little bit medium low.
Okay.
So in the pan, we'll put some smoked paprika.
Yeah.
You want to cook? So smoked paprika, just straight up, just in there is good. Yep.
Okay.
All right. We have a little bit of ginger. If you feel like you
Probably
can put
would
up
use a
as
little
much
bit
as
less
you,
than that.
much or as little as you want, really. All right. Okay, and then we got that's nice. This thing's cool. So you ground, it's almost like a modern day like mortar and pestle.
Uh-huh.
So you just, that's clever. So you had to pop these out of the pods and crush them,
Yeah.
right? And then you put the seeds in and grind them?
Right. So it turns out that the pods act as the best possible way to preserve the freshness of this. As long as they stay in there, the seeds don't dry out.
Okay.
And so then you really get a lot more flavor, which is why you don't see the black cardamom sold as pre-ground stuff like you do with the green.
I got you.
Now, if you want to go with a little bit of extra sweetness, I did bring some green cardamom. Very different flavor profile there.
Yeah, go for it if you want to put some in there. This isn't going to take very long. As you can see, you can kind of see the smoke coming off.
Yeah.
The idea was just to toast it just enough to bring out, you can smell it?
Mm-hmm.
This would be the perfect time to have smell-o-vision, by the way, if that's a thing. I'm going to go ahead and put that right there. Picked up these beautiful carrots at the co-op. Thanks for that. Just a little peel on them, cut them up. I thought the nice presentation of like kind of longer sticks is nice. Put a little bit of sea salt in there. What do you think? Now we can take and what? A little bit of olive oil.
Probably a fair amount of olive oil.
And that'll help all the spices kind of stick to the carrots. How does that look? Is that too much?
I think that's good so far.
All right. And you had another ingredient you wanted to use for the carrots, right? What is that? That's
a cardamom-infused maple syrup.
Okay.
So there was definitely a sweetness to this. I thought about using honey, but in my mind, I think it was more of a maple flavor than a honey flavor.
all right. So we're trying to recreate a food memory.
Right.
See how we do. All right. All right. So how much? What do you think? I probably should do just a little.
Yeah,
Tell me when.
I think that's it.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's already got stuff all over my hands. I'll just do that. All right. Gonna go back in the pan and we're gonna roast them. Sound good?
Yeah, perfect fit.
We preheated the oven at 350 degrees. It's on convection, so 350 is probably a good temperature at home, regardless if you use the fan or not. So convection, if you don't know, is going to make the oven hotter by about 25 to 50 degrees. So it might say 350, but the fan going, it's going to be close to 400.
Sure.
All right, makes sense? All right, in the oven, we'll just check on that in a few minutes.
Okay.
Joe, tell me about the never stop imperative. Like, what does that mean?
So, we live in a world where there is a lot of evolution. Up until recently in the U.S., there was funding for medical research and basic science research. And so, stuff that was, think of like those maps of the world in the 19th century where there were just black spaces that were labeled as terra incognito. Nobody really knew what was there. So there are parts we know well, surrounded by parts we know a little bit, and other parts where we have conventional practice, but it may not really be supported by evidence or facts. So it's a very rationalist, positivist approach in which you actually have to test a hypothesis and validate it more than once to establish that things are true. When I graduated from medical school, the guy who was the speaker that, to address the graduating class and their families, a guy named Red Duke, said something that really stuck with me, which is that he said 20 years from now, you're going to discover that 50% of everything that you learned, that you studied for, that you had to take tests on, 50% of that is going to turn out to be false. And the challenge to you is to be adaptable, to make changes, but also to be paying attention to the changes, because nobody's going to tell you this. You're not going to know which 50% is right and which 50% is wrong. So the burden is on you to dig on. And in osteopathy in particular, osteopathic medicine, this is the adage from the guy who's credited with being the founder of the profession, is to always start with this, but then dig on, because you have to discover new things. You have to validate old things.
That's smelling pretty good.
You want to check
Should
to see if
we
they're
have
fork tender?
Should we have it a gander? They're fork tender. Man, look at that. It's good looking stuff right there. All right, I'll just grab, okay, what do you got? A couple plates, some carrots, and parsnip. You've been thinking about this. You've been dreaming about this dish?
A little.
Seeing how it turns out?
Yeah.
I'm excited. We, I mean, to say the least, we went to great lengths to make this dish. What I was thinking is, yeah, just maybe maybe a pinch of the sumac over the top.
Okay.
That's going to be the secret ingredient. Maybe over part of it, right? So you can try it with or without.
That's my thought.
All right. That looks nice. I'd eat that. All right. Here you go. Ba-bang.
All right.
Let's give it a whirl. You smell that? It just, the heat, it's perfect. So without sumac and with sumac.
Interesting, but because I tried it on the narrow end,
Yeah.
the narrow end almost has a crispiness of...
So the texture's different.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Okay, this is known. That was a super good carrot. That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Stacy, that's for you.
We'll try it with sumac. It's like vibrant.
Sumac has on the
Super
finish,
nice.
it just really just extends out, gives it a little citrus.
I'm glad that we put it on after. This is it's fresh stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, remember back in Turkey?
Why?
We were trying.
Yes. Yes, I do.
we were trying all the spices just straight out of the bin. Man, I like that. Would you recreate this?
I would. This is not quite the dish that I had, but I like this. I definitely like it with the sumac better. I wasn't sure at first.
That's super nice. All right, so I have one more question for you. What is the most? So we're talking about continuing education. All right, I travel. You go to conferences. You do tons of research. I heard you have an epic library at your home. What is the most obscure learning opportunity you've had where you had to put it into practice in an emergency room situation?
Some years ago, I was in an ER. I just started the shift. I walked in, and there was a patient who was there from the previous shift. Young guy, probably late adolescent, early 20s, who had consumed a couple of marijuana edibles, and didn't really get any clear understanding of the timeline in which this would hit or how much was an appropriate dose. So his blood pressure was up, his heart rate was up, he couldn't sit down, he was so anxious, he was paranoid, just pacing around in the room. And so I was trying to figure out how to help him. The previous doctor was going to give him some Ativan and some antipsychotic medication just to settle him down. And I couldn't find much when I tried to do a quick search in the conventional medical literature at that time. But I did find an article from Dr. Mary Jane describing just the set of circumstances and recommending that we have the patient choose some whole peppercorns. So I went out to the nurse's station. I told them what I needed were 4 black peppercorns. And
what did they think about that?
Well, so they sent somebody down to the cafeteria, which was closed at that hour, but they brought back packets of ground pepper. And I said, it's not going to work. It's probably the bioterpenes in this, and over time, after you grind the pepper, you lose this stuff. So I said, I really need some fresh and whole black peppercorns. And the unit clerk said, well, I just bought a new pepper grinder today at Safeway. I only live a few blocks from here. Do you want me to get this? I said, yes. Yes, I do. So they brought it in. It took us quite a ways to figure out how to defeat the thing to get out a whole peppercorn, because it's designed to only grind them.
Yeah.
We got out 4 peppercorns. I had the guy put them between his molars and just crunch and chew. 10 minutes later, his blood pressure's down, his heart rate's down. He's sitting calmly on the edge of the bed, and he says to the nurse, can I go home now? I feel pretty good.
No way.
And it was just that fast.
That's amazing.
It was. And frankly, I was almost as surprised as everybody else was. So this was, as you can imagine, quite the talk of the town. Well, not the town, but the ER. And so a few days later, I got an email from the senior physician there, in terms of the director, asking me, he'd heard about this, and so he wanted some literature source to justify my treatment. And all I had was Dr. Mary Jane, which I suspect may have actually been a nom de plume in this case.
Really? What gave that away?
Well, it's just a guess.
We got to eat the rest of these carrots, man. They're super delicious. By the way, thank you for subscribing to our channel. Thank you for supporting it. We appreciate you watching What Do You Want to Cook? Share the stories, hit the like, and share the goodness. Dr. Joe Goldman. Joe, traveling companion. That's the furthest we've ever traveled to make a single dish. I like it. We should do it more often.
Absolutely.
Where are we going next? Thank you for watching. What do you want to cook? On this episode of What Do You Want to Eat?